My name is Gary Cook, and I currently am the Vice President and General Counsel of Christensen Farms. I'm also on the Board of Directors of Christensen Farms and Triumph Foods. When I look back over all these years and think about how the company started, one of the things that stands out in my mind is when I first met Bob Christensen. This is back in 1988, 1989, I think. And I received a call. I didn't know who he was. And I said, well, what can I do for you? And then I was in the private practice of law, and he said, I want to build a hog farm. One of the stories I like to tell about those days is that there were a number of us who were younger then. There were two commonalities. None of us had two nickels to rub together, but all of us had big, big ideas. When I met Bob, I kind of met a kindred spirit, somebody else who had big ideas. And we then started on a journey, a life journey, to take those ideas and try and make them into something truly remarkable in the food space. If you look at the scope of the operations today and all of the things that we do, all the things our people do, how geographically spread the company is, it started with a conversation that said, I want to build a hog farm. The first modern farm that Bob built, which we refer to as C2, was quite a project. One of the things that I remember first about it is putting all the pieces together to make it work. When we go back to those days, most of the things that modern integrated production systems rely on didn't exist. We had probably the early forms of independent contracts with contract producers. We had the first feed toll milling agreements, trucking agreements, first long-term hog procurement agreement, and I could go on, but there were many of those things that we really created from scratch. I can't help but remember the construction of C2. It really was sort of an attraction in Brown County. People drove from all over just to park out on the road and look at the facility as it was being built because there wasn't anything like it. I think as the years went by, we went through growth phases, which were a lot of work, but we continued to establish the foundation for what exists today. And I think one of the things that I'm really proud of, and I won't name the party whom we acquired, it was another substantial hog production company, but what I was really proud of our company and proud of Bob for was that we went in, we made that acquisition, we basically made people whole. We continued the operations, we continued the employees working there. We took care of the local vendors and local community, and I was proud of our company for doing that, and I think it helped establish our reputation as being people who were responsible business persons. Our word was our bond, and if we came in, we weren't going to do anything halfway. It was in with both feet, and we would do what we needed to do to make the thing a success. It's hard to ignore the creation of Triumph Foods because that was such a significant event. There had never been a farmer-owned processing facility prior to that time that had survived. There were a lot of roadblocks getting to the point of finally going forward with Triumph. One night when Bob and I were sitting on his deck, it was between midnight and 2 in the morning, and I remember we had an exchange. And I looked at him and I said, but Bob, it must be done. And he turned and looked at me and says, it must be done and it will be done. And that was the decision to go forward with Triumph Foods. And so Bob and I got together a group of producers and established Triumph Foods. And that has grown from the first plant that existed now to a plant in Sioux City and a bacon business and many other things. And there's still a great future and a great runway for that business enterprise. And you know, it was quite a game changer in the industry, and we were very proud. I'm very proud of the company and what Bob's leadership did to enable us to do that. One of the things I think that's always been important to me, and I think important to the leadership of the company, is the family. The Christensen family has always been very supportive of the company and its people and the development of our assets and our people. And I think a special call out to thank Mary Ann for her role, Bob's parents, Bob's brother Lynn. The family has always been unswerving in its support of the mission of Christensen Farms, and I think it's important for all of us to remember that because it continues to be important as we try and grow into the future. I know some people will tell you business and friendship don't mix. I have to tell you that that's really not the case. A friendship where you've got each other's back, where you trust each other, where you instinctively kind of know where each of you thinks you need to move a problem to get a solution. I think those are essential parts of a good business relationship. But Bob and I were friends, and I do cherish a lot of the memories of the things that we did together as friends and colleagues. And those will always be very special to me, because without that, I don't know, that made all the rest of it kind of the icing on the cake. So a company is only as good as its culture. When the company started, it would be as you would expect. The first Christmas party I think I went to had about 20 people there. And they were mostly local people, farm kids who'd been raised around here or lived in the local community, and recognized farming kind of the way their mom and dad did. But now we have a vastly different world, so what I've seen change is we've got diversity, ethnic diversity in our workforce, gender diversity. We have people with very high degrees of specialization and knowledge in subject matter areas, different kinds of skill sets necessary to cause success. And the company is spread out, and we live in a world today where it's easy to tap into somebody who maybe is 1,000 miles away, and that happens too. And so all of that has caused the company and its leadership to try and understand how to be an appealing employer and a sensitive employer to many different kinds of people. And the more different kind of people you have, I think the better off you generally are. And we got a lot of very talented, diverse people who are working here. So that's been a change from when it started, but a very good one, and I'm very happy to see where it's at. I think back in my own experience as a farm kid in Hampton, Iowa, and I never would have thought that on a daily basis I would be working with international trade issues, IT issues, genetics, marketing and sales, consumer wants and needs, innovation, to look into the future to do more things with robotics and AI and things of that nature. We created a foundation to keep up with what's happening in the 21st century. Going up to today's date, it's so sad that Bob left this life way too early, but he did set the stage for a modern food production company that I think is on a par with just about anything in the world. I know if Bob was here today and could see this, he'd be very proud of it. I'm personally very proud, and I'm so excited about what I see as the future for this company, because it's adaptable. We've got a lot of smart young people here. I see nothing but a bright outlook for Christensen Farms, and I think at the end of the day, that's the tribute to our last 50 years. It's the tribute to our founder. That continued success is what I know he hoped for, and I know he too would be very proud of where the company is today.